Thanks for coming over. This is Amodeus. Today's Dungeon Hunter Champion video is a champion box review for Thanatos from Guccigang. So huge thanks to Thanatos for sharing his thoughts and his box with us today. He brought up a lot of great points, and he really was looking for alternatives to popular units to increase the speed in his Ascended teams. So as you can see, Thanatos has a pretty nice selection of champions to choose from. One thing you might be surprised that we don't see is a Rona or a Rota here. So those are the two popular units he was wondering if he absolutely needed to build in order to progress any further. So my immediate response is, where are you at in progression? So Thanatos, for instance, is currently up to Steel Widow 13, has been playing since about launch, and has just a ton of great gear. Although we both agreed you need a lot more gear on your champions, no matter what. And when we say you need more gear, what we really mean is you need more Adept gear. You always need more Adept gear. So at this point, I don't think we need to build Rota or Rona to progress. However, he also was talking about wanting to speed up his team for Steel Widow. And now the conversation changes, because it's not about a need, it's about which synergy and which teams have the best strategy for completing Steel Widow, right? So especially specifically Steel Widow 11, because that's what he's farming. Because there are units out there that are better than Rota for speeding up a Steel Widow 11 team. And we'll talk about that a little bit, because typically the issue is how easy are those units to get. And as some of those champions are 5 stars, right? Well, as we've seen before and you see right now, that problem doesn't mean anything if you already have them, right? So even though Thanatos is free to play, it can mean a lot of different things. And Thanatos, as a free to play member of the community, is a great example of that. He's had some great luck. Personally, I'm jealous of a few of the champions on the screen. I'm looking at you, Ink Ninjas. Yes, you. Now, that said, I feel that both Rota and Rona make your quality of life easier as a rule in Dungeon Hunter Champions. But it may not be the right unit for you for your next thing. Maybe your farmer needs to be someone else, someone different than Rota. Perhaps that someone could be Alia, the Fire Blade Master. Now, I don't think there's anybody in the community that would dispute the fact that Alia is a better 6-1 farmer than Rota. Right? I don't think any champion delivers better 20-second 6-1 runs than Alia the Fire Blade Master. Now, that said, there may or may not be some rarity differences here between Rota and the Fire Blade Master. And when it comes to free to play, I think that's why we focus on certain champions over others. But as we've seen in the box review time and time again, rarity doesn't matter if the champion's already in your box, right? So if you have units that fulfill the roles that Rota normally would, then you don't need to build Rota. For instance, Skald. The Dark Valkyrie is a huge champion for Thanatos because she silences, does regeneration, and does attack speed boost. So in Ultimate Blitz, she's the reason that he was able to complete it, which is pretty fantastic if you ask me. Now, not only that, but Gabion, the Dark Naga, has been another huge champion for Thanatos because he provides these amazing shields and strips and does all of this stuff as far as getting rid of debuffs, right? So there's a lot of champions that he didn't have to build because he had those two. Now, are they easy to get? That's arguable. I'm going to go with no, because I know lots of people that want both units and have summoned like 100 discs of Light Dark and haven't gotten them. But in the same instance, like when you start to talk about team synergies and making faster teams, I mean, if you just look at the team we have right now, we can tell that Malika and Kendrick are not good champions for this team, right? Like, from a Thanatos' point of view, I would much rather toss in some Ink Ninjas, right? But there's no healer on this team, and that's kind of the goal, right? So even with subpar champions in comparison to what Thanatos could choose, we're able to dish out a fast Steel Widow 11 team that really does work well with Rota, right? And we just said he could arguably put in both Ink Ninjas and it would be a better team, right? Now, some of the elements that go along with this that make this still such a good team is that all of these champions are nature champions, so the skill cooldown is increased, right? Which makes this team viable, in all honesty. It's the constant skills being up and being used that make this so amazing, right? Because you have attack buff, you have attack speed buff, you have armor break, and then you have Hoshi coming in and she's doing block buff, and then she's stripping, and I mean, like, that is one of the key things. But that's a synergy aspect of it, because that's all of the champions working together to make this happen. So that's a sub 60-second team that we can look at Thanatos' box and say he has better champions than this, right? And I 100% agree that you could totally do that. Now, is your life easier if you build a Rota? Yeah, sure. But there's another champion on that team that is super important that makes that run viable. And it's not just Rota. It's Hoshi. Hoshi is critical for that team for many, many reasons. But when me and him were talking, it like kind of dawned on us, like, Hoshi is the unit. Now, he's building Hoshi already, but Hoshi's the unit that he's going to be able to use to already increase a pretty good raid time. But I think with the Ink Ninjas and his Light Archangel and Hoshi, you're suddenly, in all honesty, looking at like a sub 60-second team that doesn't have Rota. You know, if you already have units that fulfill these roles, whether they're 5-star or alternate 4-stars, you know, you do have the ability to create different units to support the team's overall synergy to get the results that you're looking for. And I think that's what Hoshi will do for him. And that's why, you know, for Thanatos, who's so awesome to let us use his box and have great conversations with us over the last couple of days, that's one of the reasons I think he's going after this. So I'll be honest, I'm really curious. Do you think there's other units like Hoshi that make teams work because they fill roles for other teams that are very mainstream, right? So are there other champions that do things like this? I'm looking at Skuld right now because I was so impressed with what he had to say about how she helped him with survivability and the silence, which we talked about in several videos. So we got to think about those things. So who's going to be that champion that owns that space for us post Update 5? So many things coming post Update 5. But as always, this is a conversation. Thank you for watching the videos. As always, drop in the comments below what you think. Who's the go-to champion for you from a support role that maybe we don't talk about enough? All right, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.